And I'm going to talk to you today about a topic that I'm passionate about, and that is that we need to let our students curate. I was given the task a couple of years ago of coming up with professional development for teachers to curate digital resources. And as I started trying to make sense of what do we mean by curate versus collecting information, I realized just how powerful this could be for kids. So we live in an information age where information is just over the top, drowning us, right? It's like taking a drink from a fire hydrant. And in order to make sense of all this information, we need to filter it. To filter the information, to find what we truly need, we need to use a lot of skills in that process. Critical thinking, a little bit of creativity, absolutely communication. And so I started looking at different examples of things that have been labeled curating, and one of those is Pinterest. Pinterest, you find all kinds of interesting, eclectic collections of things, but they aren't necessarily well thought out, such as the sample you just saw, the color green. So in my process, I started breaking it down by criteria of what actually happens in a curation or a collection process. I started with the thinking level, and I thought with collecting information, it's more about classifying things, finding the lowest common denominator to group things together. But in curating, you are really critically thinking in that step. Then there's the process. And in collecting, it's somewhat random, okay? There isn't really a rhyme or reason to the how. But we are cherry picking. When you're curating, you're really thinking deeply about the things that you're putting together. Organization with collecting tends to be thematic, but when you are curating, you move beyond thematic and you're looking for contextual relationships and reasons to keep or discard things. The value for a curated collection goes way beyond that of a collection. With the value for curating is something that you want to share with the world. You have reached this deeper understanding and you want to share it. And here's the part that recently I've discovered is so critical to curating versus collecting, and that is an audience. I had a group, very successful, of 8th graders do a curating project where they had an audience. We had them set them on blogs, and we had teachers and community members comment. They displayed a lot of curiosity. They went through inquiry processes. They had this audience, though, to give real meaning to what they were doing. And it made a huge difference. This past year, I worked with a group of 7th graders on a similar project, and the piece that was missing was the audience. So this is one thing that I'm discovering is so important. With curating, students get to ask questions. Now, in my job, I have to do a lot of observations in classrooms, looking for 21st century skills, and what I've discovered is students don't ask questions other than clarifying what they have to do for the assignment. So curating gives them that opportunity. So yes, there's value to teachers in curating. Certainly those that consider themselves a chief learner are going to love that inquiry process. But the real value in curating is to the students. The students practice inquiry. They get to wonder and connect those steps that are often passed up in the inquiry process. And they take that information and they start making connections across curricular areas. It's wonderful to watch. So multiple skills are practiced in the curating process, as I said earlier. This is from the Future Work Skills 2020 report. All the items in green, synthesis, self-direction, are the kinds of skills that are needed and are practiced with content curation. The big question is, who do you want to own the learning? the students, right? And so the less the teachers are controlling that inquiry process, the more the students are going to own it. And I'm just going to let the students tell you, these were interviews with our 8th grade students, how powerful this learning was for them. They really understood a curator puts the history back into something. They understood that this was a deeper process than just researching and collecting information. A curator is someone who paints with words. With curating, I can take you through a journey of learning. I liked how much this project pushed me into new learning. Okay, these were 8th graders spring semester. Bottom line, we need to let the students curate. We cannot continue to just push resources out to them. They have the ability, they need to practice the skill. We want them to question and to wonder and to learn. And curating is a way that we can make that happen. Thank you.